You're on.
Oh, you're on now, huh?
Yeah, with that little red on there.
This is good.
Which one?
The Nushintel.
Which one's that? That?
The creamy one.
I'm trying to eat all the flat smash ones. I'm trying to do my job here. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to pause it for now.
I'm moving this.
You're on. Okay. We'll put this right over here. She wants that seat, so I'm going to give her that seat because I'm benevolent and kind. Not at all.
That's garbage.
Like other folks.
Definitely
I'm
favorite.
going to sit right over here next to you. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Forgot to put the white wine in. So where are you sitting, Bruce?
Over here in the rocking chair.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Party time.
A little of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Little dogs.
Hmm? Mm-hmm.
They're good.
Tails are still on the shrimp, so you need to pop those off.
Oh, they're good.
So what'd you have for dinner?
Yeah, soup. Soup. I just had a small bowl. They had lasagna for lunch,
Wow.
and their lasagna is delicious.
Hmm.
Just you know.
Did Eric say he was coming?
No, he didn't. Kelly wasn't home yet. I need more. A few more little tiny ones. Small ones.
So, they gave you some pretty good OERs, huh?
Well, this one from the engineer school. What happened is that the colonel in charge of the school came down to greet the group. And it was a motley crowd, you know. And all the branches, one medical. That was me. And he said, we normally have a formal formation for this orientation, but it seems we don't have anybody that's familiar with the procedure. And he said, our normal procedure is we select as the school, as the class company commander, the senior officer present. He said, that just happens to be you. He said, however, now you're not. He said, we don't know your background. Do you know anything about close order drill? I said, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to form the group here? So I picked 3 guys out, made them the squad leaders, said we're going to designate three squads, call them to attention, fall in, and have them set themselves up by rank, and put them through close order drill for 5 minutes. And they were the ones that were goofing up. I mean, some of them, instead of by the right flank, they didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Anyway, got all finished with it. And this one guy came to me and he says, you know, I was sure if we had a goddamn medic in charge of this class, he was going to run us off in the ditch. That was a good course, too.
How is it, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
tell Eric that. When we made so much of this, we did have him in mind.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
we'll-
it's always like other services and branches within the service to give each other grief like that.
The Kellys. The Kellys.
That's good work.
We don't know.
I might take some of it.
I thought I'd met the doctors, one of the doctors that I called back to active duty. Turns out that we have a retired medical officer. Never actually went on active duty in the branch of services. But when the Korean thing came along, they needed doctors. They called anybody that had an MD. They just called them. And he said 10 of them were sent to, I guess it was Japan first. And he said they were all board specialists. They weren't what you would call family type practicing physician. Some of them hadn't even seen a needle forceps in the last 20 years of their practice. And here they put them in, they were going to put them into Korea as battalion surgeons out in the front line. So he was at that time, he was a
They call it the MASH unit.
yeah. He was he was a pediatrician. And he said you just see himself out delivering babies on the front line. He said there wouldn't be any babies, they'd be Koreans I'd be delivering. So
Pediatrician or obstetrician?
Would that, would be
The
obstetrician.
baby doctor is a pediatrician.
pediatrician. And
Obstetrician.
he is
Hmm?
he's also a board certified orthopedic surgeon. That specialties is hips. So I told him, I said, you know, I had a tour of active duty at Presidio in San Francisco in the Surgeon General's office, surgeon of the 6th Army. And he said, I went in there the first day, and he said the surgeon's name was Hans Bachspies. Can you imagine the name any more German than that? And this NCO comes in with about 4 of these cartons full of the 201s of all the surgeons in the 6th Army area. About, must have been about 400 of them. And he said, we need 25 MDs for the 6th Army area. And he said, I want you to go through these, and he said, I want you to pick out, this was just before Vietnam too. He said, I want you to set up a criteria for which officers you're going to call back, and then come in and talk to me about it. So I made a quick review of the things, and, you know, mixed in with them were medical officers who had actually served during World War II, and put in maybe anywhere from 6 months to maybe 2 years. So I had to set my criteria that anybody that had prior service would be in the lowest category, and the highest, number 1, would be anybody that got their commissions and got all their got their MDs on a federal grant, but have never served. And so I set up the criteria, just put it in on his desk. The next day he came in and he says, I like that. And he says, you know what's going to happen? He said, those people are going to come back here looking for me, and I'm going to send it for you. And boy, he was right. I had one guy come in who was getting, just before he was getting his board certification, I forget the specialty, but it was a specialty that wouldn't be abused in Vietnam. He says, you can't do this to me. So showed him the criteria approved by Colonel Buckspee. He said, I want to talk to that man. I said, well, okay, I'll put your name down here that you want to review. No, I don't want to review it, I want to talk to the man. I said, you can't. Because what he's going to do is give it right back to me and ask me to go over it again with the criteria. And this guy said, well, I'll go to higher authority. Fine, go right ahead. And he did. General Wiedemeyer, and who was the 6th Army commander. Wiedemeyer called Buckspee, Buckspee called me in. Said, I read the criteria that we decided on. General Wiedemeyer said, in this particular officer's case, put him right up very front and call him one of the first ones invited. Oh, dear.
I didn't like his whining and complaining, huh?
I will say this, most of them admitted that they were MDs based on the fact that Public Health Service or the Army or the Navy had actually put the money up for them to get their degree.
Hmm.
This is good.
So you selected folks so to get over there and be the MASH units for
That's right.
Vietnam.
Korea. And Vietnam.
And Vietnam.
Where'd you get the tree?
Sears had them on sale, 50%.
No.
So I grabbed it.
I already had lights on it.
Merry Christmas.
And the lights already installed.
Mm-hmm. Had lights on it. I didn't have to do another tree with lights. Would have been the third one.
Well, you can probably just stick it away in there.
I had returned a whole bunch of lights and stuff that I had gotten, thinking the tree that was in the little box there was a lot bigger than it was. And,
I have the box down in the storage.
yeah, it has a box.
You have to stick the, do they fold up?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the top part comes off. And then there's
Well,
styrofoam that fits around the base and fits into the box. It's real easy. Kept all the ornament boxes.
yeah, the gal that I talked to at Deaconess, sometimes the receptionist, sometimes works in their library. And she said, don't throw any of the books away, even if you think that they're absolutely useless, because what we do is we take them all, we screen them, we put some in our library. Then we call other libraries and see if they're interested in titles. And he said, when we get down to the very bottom, we take them to a bookseller, used bookseller, and they give us something like 10 cents or 20 cents for each copy. And he said, we put that in the library fund. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is get them to take a look at all the books.
Smart thing to do.
I kept those two for Pamela. And I told her, she's all excited, especially the anatomy one.
Oh, I've got a real interesting one for anatomy.
Yeah. Well, she's all excited about that one, because that's what she's studying right now.
She didn't have the new Grey's Anatomy.
This is the Grey's Anatomy. The special edition Grey's Anatomy.
This one has a view, when you look at the front page, it has the view of the human anatomy looking from the front.
With the
Then
thumbs
you
up.
have, and then you have a series of overlays, transparent overlay,
Mm-hmm.
all in color. You can overlay it, and it has the internal organs. You lay out another one on, it shows you the relationship of organs to the body. Then you flip the page and it's looking at the body from the back, and another set of overlays.
The
Snow.
11 systems. Integumentary system.
We haven't had any earthquakes for us yet.
No, I've heard about a bunch of them, but they just aren't coming in, huh?
They just appear when you're not expecting them. You think, oh, they're all gone, and then we get a big shaker.
Pretty consistent, huh?
Yep. Pretty scary.
I said we haven't felt the big one yet, though.
I say within the next year, we're gonna get a 5 point.
7 point.
Could be
Whoa.
7. They estimate 5, but could be up to 7.
But I just don't want to be in that apartment when it happens. 3 and
No.
4 is bad enough. It shakes.
Yeah.
It's so close to the epicenter, which is downtown.
Like Gonzaga University.
Who did the
Well, that's
planning
only one of
on
them.
this?
There's like
community?
4 different
Who did the
epicenters.
planning on this community?
So,
Pick the one for them.
Yeah.
no.
Well,
The
Frank, do
people
you
are
think
there.
that people are getting less restrained in what they say and do, and more vulgar?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Especially the youth.
I think TV was beginning to reflect too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean the TV shows, I mean the interviews. Of course, they can chop it out so easily.
But they don't.
They can say whatever they want anymore, it seems like.
Less restrained and more vulgar.
Like the people with the road rage, and they're definitely not restrained.
We're overcrowded.
Too many people.
And this is just symptomatic of too many people, huh?
It's like colonies of mice or rats.
I need a glass of wine.
All you want is the white stuff. You don't want the red stuff?
Okay. I forgot the white.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Well, you got a phone, right, Frank? Here, let me
No,
call
it's
Eric.
right next to the TV there.
See if he's gonna make it or not. Mm-hmm. Hello?
Pardon?
Is the garbage can under the
Didn't
sink?
make it.
Yeah.
I'm done. Ah!
They're not answering.
Maybe
They
they're
must-
on the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking it as.
I hope so. cell phone. Have them stop and get a bottle of white wine on the way.
You going for the red wine, huh?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Just water.
Water. I'm drinking the water.
Good for you.
You getting some red wine?
I am. Would you like some more?
I've got some ice in here, but it's not red.
Here, I'll pour it. You hold it.
Lake effect snow.
Yeah, it's off of the Erie, Lake Erie. Buffalo, New York.
You know, the wind blows over the lake, picks up moisture, and turns to snow when it hits the...
Mm-hmm. It's called lake effect.
Ah, that's what I want.
Ah, thank you.
I want snow.
Yeah, I'll be glad when this damn cold weather goes away.
No, not me. But if it's gonna be cold, I want it to be snowing too.
They know where to come?
Yeah. Eric helped me and
Yeah, move the bed up here.
move the bed up.
Okay. All right.
Not me, so.
Oh! You're on, Frank.
You're recording now?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I better stop licking my lips.
Huh? Well, we've had a pretty good Christmas. I got home. That's getting the heater fixed in the house. That's good.
Did you get it fixed?
Yeah, no, not yet. Friday. Don't know about refinancing. I don't know whether we're gonna make it on that. So we may have to find some other solution to that. What else did we get done? We got the Christmas letter out to the people that wrote us anyway. And we had a whole checklist of stuff, and we got most of it done.
Good.
Gotta make the trip to the lake tomorrow.
Now let's see, since you got that new tenor in, do they actually plow that road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, not right into our place, but past it.
Yeah, in other words, you don't have to.
I don't have to hike in 1/4 of a mile on my snowshoes to get to the cabin now.
Good.
But your little car's gonna be able to plow right through that and
Well, it depends upon how deep the snow is. I mean, we'll be able to get right to our driveway. Whether we can get down the driveway and in to the garage area.
I might should get my big boots, huh?
You might should.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they?
I don't know, they're somewhere there in town, aren't they?
I have no clue. They're probably with all your other clothes. Unless Eric borrowed them. He has his own though.
No. When you get the International, the pickle truck going again, like, you can put a snowplow on there.
Oh. Yeah, that would be, if we decide to put a modular home up there. We would,
You know, what's your deal with this modular?
I just watched some shows on them and they're really well built.
Very
And-
well insulated.
You know, they're green built, and you can put the together in lots of different ways. They're modular sections, you know, and you pick and choose how you want it set up. And they've got standard roof lines. They're not the flat, you know, trailer type roof. They're standard roof lines, and you just have lots of options with them. You know. And they're real well built.
Hmm.
what the process is for putting them together, but you can't tell. I mean, it looks like, it flows just like a normal house, so maybe they bolt them together or do the
They do.
standard, I don't know. And then cover them over with drywall in the,
But they do all of that at whatever the location.
on site after they get it all in
It's
place.
built in the factory and then put together on site.
Well, they just have all these little modules
So what you have to do.
on trucks, and they just take them off the truck and put them,
You have to figure out.
you
what
can
the
have
foot-
multi-stories too.
Yeah, you have to figure out what the footprint's gonna be and then have the
Oh, yeah.
foundation for it.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Well, just like any.
yeah. And they can do multi-levels with these modular ones. 'Cause they don't put the roof on until, how you decide what you're gonna be having. And you can put things like dormers in and whatever other things that you select. Pretty cool. And you can put a metal roof on it too. And be real slippery. Charleston?
And dormers.
Frost freeze in Charleston. Did you see that, hon?
I did see a little red right on the coast of Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty unusual.
Wasn't
But I
last
did bring-
Christmas.
I did bring all my plants in,
It wasn't at all unusual last year.
so they should be doing okay. It might be a little dry by the time I get home.
What pours not the water in for you?
Didn't ask her to.
Well, you've only gone for 7 days, maybe 6, 7 days.
Oh, God left my plants for a week.
Yeah, some of them will be, others will hurt a little bit,
If you
but they
turn,
won't be too bad.
did you turn your thermometer down, thermostat down a little bit?
I haven't had my heat on this year yet.
We could probably be a little chilled when we get home.
It
Let's-
never gets below about 70. 70's the lowest it's been.
We had the
Inside?
heater on when I was there last year,
Yeah, that's true.
because it was cold.
Yeah, well, mine hasn't dipped below about 70 this year, and I haven't had the heat on, so.
You have your
That
thermostat
is
set to
nice.
come on.
No, I haven't turned it on at all.
But since you left, you have a cold snap there. It's 25.
No. It's 25?
That's what they just said on there.
Holy cow.
Yes.
That's
Cold.
grossly cold.
It's like a, yeah.
Well, I
Frost
might
warning.
get down to 65 in my
Freeze,
house.
frost, no.
They're fine down to 58.
See, I got somebody living on one side and somebody living on the other side and somebody living on top. And as long as they're heating their house, I get some heat that way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
I
Yeah.
only have windows on 2 ends. Makes it pretty easy.
You have that bedroom window, or bedroom door closed by the parking lot, right?
No,
Mm.
left is open.
Oh.
the one thing that here is, boy, I'm telling you, it just gets hotter than hell, not in here, because if it starts getting hot in here, I can turn this off, but I open the windows up.
You see, you had them take the air conditioner out.
Oh, yeah.
It was making noises with the water dripping on it.
That was a
Continually.
pain in the butt.
And the bottom, on either end, the bottom of it, is a 1/2 inch gap. Cold air.